Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be writing to the life-changing journey of being selected as a Gurkha. Now, I know what a Gurkha is. This is something that I checked out quite a while ago. It was probably at the very beginning of this channel, well before Lindsay came onto the channel.
Okay.
And I just asked Lindsay if she had any clue what a Gurkha is, and I don't think you do, right?
No, I've never heard that term before.
Can you guess what you think a Gurkha is if you just,
I mean, it sounds like an item of clothing, like a burqa.
Really?
I mean...
Okay, that's interesting.
But my question is, does this have to do with the UK?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because the word doesn't sound like it would.
Right, I get what you're saying there. But a lot of people in the comments have been asking for us to check out the Gurkhas. And, since you have no experience at all with the Gurkhas, I thought it would be interesting to get your take on the Gurkhas.
All right.
This is Gurkha class of 2019. 400 trainee soldiers, the biggest intake to set foot in the UK in over 30 years.
Wow.
Most are just teenagers, and their journey began thousands of miles from here. Nepal. It's a small nation wedged between India and China, the mighty Himalayas running down its spine. It remains one of the world's poorest and least developed countries, and for 200 years the British Army have recruited some of its strongest young men with the blessing
Wow.
of their queens. Every year 10,000 apply to join, pledging to fight and potentially die for a country and a queen on the other side of the world.
Okay. Is Nepal a Commonwealth country?
I don't think it is, guys.
What is the connection here? That's interesting.
I believe they might explain this because it's a big deal of why this got started long ago. But
it's been going on for a long time?
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly. Like I said, I checked out the Gurkhas a really long time ago, so I'm going to learn a lot from this as well. But basically, as I'm sure you gather, these are
recruits, basically,
from Nepal, that are are really working to basically become part of the British military. And basically, you can imagine you come from this country.
Yeah.
And you
don't have a lot of options, probably.
I believe in a lot of areas. I believe it's very agricultural and stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
So if you don't really want to go into that field, no
right?
pun intended.
It's a huge deal, and it's hard. You've got to be tougher than nails, and that is something I think you're going to probably learn from this video as well. That the Gurkha are like really tough soldiers. They are known to be fierce warriors, and so this should be interesting.
It's a friendship like no other. A British Foreign Legion, over 200 years old.
Wow.
With the UK's crisis in recruitment, we need them more than ever. But how do you find the very best Gurkhas? How do the British Army protect them from the corruption so rife in Nepal? And once in, is it all they dreamed of?
Gurkha company.
Wow.
4 a.m.
The first stage of selection for the British Army takes place each year in September. One in the west of Nepal in Pokhara, and one in the east, here in hot, sticky Dharan.
I wonder if it's like Thailand.
Young men from all around get up in the early hours and travel miles to be here for a chance of a job in the British Army.
Today we got one hilly district, that's Dankuta, and we got 5 Tarai districts. Normally they're farming background, especially in Tarai district, they're farming backgrounds, and hilly district also farming background. But nowadays most of the boys from the hills do come down to the cities, near the cities, for a better education, better life, or probably better facilities as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was just saying, that I thought it was because they basically were going to be, they're in these villages and they're going to have to basically go into the agricultural fields, and going into the British military is like a big dream for like so many of these young men in Nepal.
Really?
And it's very limited. It's exclusive.
So kind of like similar to the Marines in the sense that you feel it's way more selective, so you want to compete for that spot.
But I believe it's even way more selective.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm just saying similar in the sense.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
This year, the recruiting campaign was bigger than ever before. They advertised on every one of Nepal's 72 radio stations, and the recruiting officers, retired Gurkhas known as Gulawallas, travelled to all corners of the country, gathering young men together on football pitches, tennis courts and cafes.
I wonder what branch of the military they go in. Are they part of the British Army? I think they're part of the British Army, probably.
They modernised their website. Potential recruits, known as PRs, could even email Deputy Head of Recruiting Major Sandy Nightingale personally. And they did.
I do get quite a few emails from PRs asking some quite various questions, from
many
are my
British
teeth okay with
Gurkhas
photographic evidence
to
can women join this year? Oh,
that's interesting. I wonder.
Is dispel the myth that only certain Nepalis can join the British Army. It's still amazing to me that people think it's only certain castes. People think that you have to be rich. People think all kinds of things that are all wrong. We will take anyone who's good enough. We make sure there's a British officer on every single stand as well, just so no one could think, oh, I'm a Gurung, he's a Rai. Maybe he's going to give me a worse mark.
There are 125 castes or ethnic groups throughout Nepal, and historically, Gurkhas came from just 4 of these groups.
Wow!
Over the years, the army has succeeded in reaching more diverse sectors of society, in part thanks to its dedicated team of Gulawallas who go out in tireless search of the best young men.
So recruiters,
yeah. So I'm guessing they're going to small villages across the country.
Spreading the word, trying to stir everybody up.
Yeah, because I'm guessing that all young men probably know about this because it's a big deal, and a lot of them want to join.
It's been going on for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but I bet a lot of them have like this
like preconceived notions that aren't true about it.
Right, that like only certain types of people are allowed to join and stuff like that. Wow, that's interesting. What do you say? 125
ethnicities or something.
That's crazy. 125. Wow.
This year's newest and most baby Gulawalla, aged just 45, made a dramatic entrance, bringing in record numbers from the east.
Wow, I'm really enjoying my job. Because I want to do something for my countries, the British Army. Everybody know in the world, this is one of the best army in the world.
Wow.
Due to the searing heat, the 800-metre run has become the first test of the day, and the locals have turned out to cheer the boys on.
That's cool.
Or perhaps eye up the competition. With the futures of so many potential recruits resting on the selection process, there is no room for human error.
Oh, I love that.
Every single score that's written down gets checked by someone else. And I personally will check every single score of those who are selected. Then the Chief of Staff will check every single score of those who are selected. In order to understand fairness, you have to understand Nepali society generally. Nepal is a country where people pay money to get just about everything. And therefore, for us to kind of display ourselves as being free, fair and transparent, we have to go to huge lengths to convince people that that's the case.
So he's saying
tell them not to pay.
So he's saying it's a very corrupt country, like they can bribe their way out of or into anything.
I think he's saying that there is a lot of
classism.
Probably a lot of classism. It sounds like because there's different what they call the caste system, and then there is probably a lot of corruption amongst like people like trying to trick the young man for a certain amount of money. I'll get you in, or like I bet there's something like that going on. I bet that's kind of what he's talking about.
That.
Yeah.
Pay money to anyone to get into the British Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's sad, man, because
that's messed up.
This is
Similarly, in
opportunity for them.
Every question must be unique. By 3 p.m, the test paper will be in the local bazaar, being sold for a few rupees.
Well, writing the papers is extremely difficult. We do keep them under strict lock and key, and then in order to generate those papers, to proofread those papers, to proofread them again and again, because if there are any dramas on the day, it is unfortunately a cohort of young boys who are going to suffer, and we do not want that to happen.
One focus of this year's campaign has been to filter out potential problems early to avoid wasting recruits' efforts, emotions and money. Major Nightingale has introduced a new test to regional selection. Hyperextending elbows, some call it noodle arm, is an immediate fail, so this is now checked early. Throughout the day, if the recruits fall short on anything, they head straight to the dreaded Chowtari and then home.
These boys will give everything to try and get into the British Army. I'm not saying that a British soldier is not equally motivated to join the British Army, but the difference with these guys is their whole families put pressure on them to join the British Army. If they get into the British Army, their whole family's life will change forever.
Wow, yeah, that's true.
And that's the context that we're working with.
So is it
much higher stakes for them, probably?
Is it just because of the salary difference?
Yeah,
that
the
they can take
benefits
care of
that
their
come
families.
along with it,
So I'm guessing a lot of these young men are from like very poor, rural, small farming communities, and there's not hardly any opportunities there.
Right.
I mean, they either basically are going to they're going to be in the same agricultural field as their parents in that community, or they're going to have to go to the city and probably get a job that may be a little bit more lucrative to them. But the big prize is if they have the ability to join the British Army, and that is probably, you know, light years ahead in terms of the benefits and the salary they get.
1456 Nishchal. Yes, sir. 1460 Prajwal. Yes, sir. 1468 Pradeep Kumar. Yes, sir. 1470.
For some of today's young men, the news is devastating.
1499 Sugam.
Man.
1500 Sunil.
The recruiting staff are very protective of them. They won't allow anyone to speak to the potential recruits. Today is too important. The chosen few will be invited back to selection in January, where they'll compete for one of just a few hundred places. Only 4% of the 10,000 applicants will make it.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Very selective.
That's crazy, guys.
Gurkhas have been part of the British military for over 200 years, ever since the Anglo-Nepalese War, when the British were so impressed by the fighting skills of their enemy, they struck a deal to recruit them when the war was over.
Smart.
Since then, they've become one of the most feared units of the British forces and fought in every major conflict. The politest of soldiers, the most ferocious of fighters. Can today's recruits uphold a reputation centuries old? South of the Himalayas and west of Kathmandu lies Pokhara, Nepal's second largest city.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying with Delhi Airlines. Namaste.
It's the gateway to the Annapurna mountain range, a favourite spot for trekkers. But it's also home to final selection for the British Gurkhas. It's here that the recruiting team must choose once and for all who will become the future Nepali warriors. They've already been selected as the best of the best from their regions. Now they must undergo even more rigorous tests, not least of which is the infamous Doko race.
Doko race?
The race involves running up a mountain in the Himalayan foothills with 25 kilos of sand in a basket strapped around the forehead.
It is around the forehead?
That would be so uncomfortable.
Wow.
Like we got the British Elite Force, like the Para, they got their own specific training. Like the commandos, they have got their own selection, and this is unique for the Gurkhas.
The day before, the sand is meticulously weighed and the Doko
around
baskets
the
carefully
forehead.
laid out.
Wow.
Each recruit must prepare his own.
In case of raining, they are covering their blanket by plastic. In case of rain, they will be heavier than usual weight.
And why the blanket?
A blanket because this one is quite rough, so they may scratch their skin at their backside.
How hard is the Doko race?
It is very hard, very hard.
Wow.
The Doko race was only introduced in 1989. Before that, most of the young men grew up in the mountains and did this daily.
Did that daily? Are they talking about they were hauling goods back and forth?
Yeah, I think it was a lot more strenuous and manual labor prior to late 80s and 90s. They're not just carrying this, they're trying to race. So they're going to have to run and jog at different times like we just saw. Strapped to their forehead.
That's the crazy. I thought it was strapped to like their back, like a backpack.
They've got it as a backpack, but I think they also have a strap that's...
I'm trying to figure out if that, like, you're going up.
Your neck.
Yeah, it probably would, but you're going uphill, so maybe that kind of gives you, like, you see what I'm saying? It helps a little bit, probably.
Wouldn't be comfortable.
No, man, that'd be tough.
There was no need for a test. At 5:45 a.m., the potential recruits leave camp, gather their doko baskets, and when enough light has risen...
Hello, finishing point, this is start point, over.
The race begins.
Yes, sir. Okay, group number 1. Blue, figure 34, stand by, go.
Oh, dude, that looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, it does.
The event, because it is uphill from start to the end. So my tips for the boys is do not give up. Keep going and never look up. If you look up, obviously, your weight pull you towards the ground and pull you back. So always bend down and keep, going up.
This last run was quite dodgy because of the weather. It rained the whole night, and boys were wet this morning, and their doko was wet. The terrain itself is difficult. Uphill,
oh my gosh.
The steps.
Okay, I got to see that again. Do you see how?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All those stairs.
Holy. Okay. I would love to actually see this closer up and see this course
elevation
in person and see what this looks like along the way.
I wonder how long it normally takes.
Guys, let us know in the comments if there is any video out there that shows exactly like kind of more of this course here, and like so we can see more of how steep this is, how long it lasts, things like that. I'm also curious if you complete this, no matter how long it takes you, basically do you get the thumbs up to continue, or
is there a cutoff for time?
Yeah, is there a cutoff for time?
There probably has to be, otherwise.
I mean, I think there would be for like a crazy long period of time, but I mean, like if you're only 5 minutes behind the last person before you, I mean, like I don't know.
The steps and stones and boulders and the puddles.
That guy's gonna make it.
No time for water stops. The recruits must complete the course in 46 minutes.
Oh, 46
if they
minutes.
fail, they leave selection immediately.
Wow.
At the top, it's time for a well-earned breakfast and relief at last.
They've got to be in good
Descent is
shape.
less painful, the boys singing as they go. Selection is almost complete. It won't be long now until they know what their future will hold.
So I'm guessing they're being judged then along that race.
It's the night before results day for the potential recruits or PRs from the
They got
west
some
of Nepal.
moves.
And to ease the nerves, the recruiting staff have suggested they put on a show. Western Idol delights the judging panel.
Western
It's
Idol.
clear that West's got talent.
I want that guy's energy.
The next morning, it's a different story. The young men must now say their goodbyes. If successful, they're unlikely to see their newfound friends again. Many will be heading home.
Oh.
In a few moments' time, they'll be invited into a room one by one and told their fate.
Imagine
We
that.
see a massive spectrum of Nepali society. You know, we have people from very, very poor backgrounds who are orphans. You see everything in that room, which is why we don't allow you guys to go in there. It means so much to them to get in because
Yeah, I can imagine.
a lot of them might have gambled everything on this, and you know it's quite a raw environment actually.
Yeah, hard for you emotionally.
Yeah, well, I think everyone really. You know, we are obviously emotionally invested. It's impossible not to be.
Imagine having to tell someone, no, they didn't make it.
So there's like, what, over 400 of these? Well, probably not at this point because they've eliminated some along the way.
Yeah, started with 10,000, I think is what they said.
No.
I think they said 10,000 earlier and only 4% get in or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
I think they said this, what they said,
When they were getting off
this
the
class was
buses.
400 or something.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not sure, but they also said something about 10,000 entries or something like that.
Wow.
The minutes tick by painfully. The staff of Gurkha Company from Catterick survey from above. If the recruits are successful, they will bound up the stairs at 1,000,000 miles an hour before anyone can change their minds. There, they will become part of the British Army, and it's over to Gurkha Company to turn them into soldiers. Amongst the candidates is 20-year-old Madhav Karki. This is his fourth and final attempt and his last chance to get in before he turns 21 and can no longer apply.
Oh.
There's an age
Everyone
cutoff.
is
That's young.
nervous.
That is young. Wow.
Outside the gate, the families wait, willing their sons not to appear through the railings. For those who've been unsuccessful, there is next year, if they are under 21 and can afford to make this journey again.
Wow.
If not, life will have to be very different. As Madhav Karki appears through the door, it looks to be good news.
I'm feeling very excited, and I'm feeling like I'm in the moon. So it's my dream became true. So I'm feeling very happy. No one in my family, they are in the army. I'm the first guy in the British Army right now.
You must feel so proud.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
You're in the British Army. How does it feel?
It's my happiest moment of my life. Yes.
It's my dream come true, ma'am.
Have you tried before?
Yes, ma'am. This is my second dream, ma'am.
And you remember what it felt like last year, so this must be so special.
Yes, I'm very happy, ma'am.
Hello there.
The first thing the boys are allowed to do is phone home.
We give the boys 4 phone calls throughout the selection process. So after each stage, so after the medical, after the physical, after the education, and when they're selected, they get a phone call. And that's basically so their parents hear from them first, so no one else can sort of play games and say, oh, your son's nearly there, but I'll get him in if you give me some money. So it's to prevent
That is so messed up.
Yeah, it's really messed up.
It's nice that their parents hear them first. It's always a little bit sad when the parents don't pick up and they're waiting.
How exciting.
Waiting agonisingly for their parents to answer the
Yeah,
phone.
that'd be a good feeling.
Hello, Mama.
I just called my father. He just crying in the other side of phone. They're so happy. I know.
With their new recruits assembled, Gurkha Company waste no time. The boys' own clothes will now be sent back to their families. They'll need a whole new wardrobe in the British Army.
They have to get all their kit and equipment, so it's like a big Christmas day. So as you can see on the table, they are the Christmas father, and then they are getting a big bunch of bag. We don't know who's gonna be selected, and we don't know the sizes. So now we'll take them to the room, and then if there's a big or small, we try to sort it out within the group.
So it's like a big swapping session.
Yes.
And inevitably all the big guys will end up with a small kit.
Yeah, it will happen, yeah.
Next up, a trip to the barber and the tailor.
You feel like you are a part of our army. Without wearing these suits, you're no longer civilian.
What was the hardest part of selection for you?
For me, it was a 2400-meter running race, BFT, because since I'm a grown-up all in the city, I haven't run that much. So for me to pass only, it was very hard. But I have trained hard with my friend. Then I have succeeded and passed.
That's cool. They got in together.
Recruits are inoculated, fitted for their Virtus body armour, and measured for their civvy outfits, known as the mufti.
Mufti.
Mufti?
Camp quickly becomes awash with ironing boards and boot polish, and mirror space is very much at a premium. The recruits keep none of their
Man,
old
I bet they
belongings.
love that.
Everything is new.
Gurkha tie. This is a special tie. You can't find. I don't think you can find it in.
We cannot buy
markets
it. We cannot buy it.
Yeah, it's a specially designed tie for Gurkhas.
And so it's used only on special occasions, I think.
Shampoo.
Soaps. We have our razor kits.
Usually the Mughals don't really grow
Mongols
mustache.
people
Mongolians
don't really
don't
have beard or mustache. Like, it's very rare in our case, man.
The exciting I am because son is always better than father because of the time they improve. So this intake will be better than last intake straight away.
Oh, I thought he was saying that his son got in, but he's saying that they get better each generation, basically. Is what he's saying.
That's kind of surprising, honestly.
Yeah, for most things, it goes opposite.
Nowadays, you'd think it's declining, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Son is always better than father. My son will be better than me. Straight away.
पछाडी चाहिँ हात राख्दाखेरि चाहिँ तिम्रो चाहिँ मेक स्योर तिम्रो चाहिँ यो बाम चाहिँ क्रस गरेको हुनु पर्यो हुन्छ अनि यहाँनिर चाहिँ कुनै खालको चाहिँ स्लिट हुनु भएन.
One of the most important new challenges this week is drill lesson 1. In a few days' time, they must parade in front of dignitaries and their families, and everyone wants it to be perfect.
Make sure front rank चाहिँ make sure के हो तिमीले चाहिँ 45 डिग्री एंगलमा चाहिँ हेरेको हुनु पर्यो बुझ्यो फेरि गोर्खा कम्पनी भन्छु त्यहाँ फेरि के हो पोजिसन अफ अटेन्सनमा आउने.
The recruits have just a week to get to grips with the basics before they fly to the UK. There's a lot to learn,
crazy, man.
and they'll need their new comrades, their numries, to help them out every step of the way. Instructors from Gurkha Company in Yorkshire's Catterick Garrison
await the arrival of their new recruits.
Oh yes, everyone is looking forward for this day.
Because Gurkha Company would have been quite quiet, won't it?
It is, yeah, it is quite quiet when the boys are not in the camp around, and then we just feel lonely when the boys are not in.
Soon enough, they appear, safe into this foreign land, which from now on will be their home.
It's really unknown area when you come into the UK. When I recall my memories, it's exciting as well as a bit daunting as well. You don't know what's coming up. So a bit excited.
Be a little intimidating.
And on the other hand, you're away from your families as well, so you've got lots of emotion in your mind going through.
It's been a long journey to get here. Years of training, months of tests, examinations and interviews. But this is only the beginning. They will fight for this country and this queen now. A job that will change their own future and the fortunes of their families.
Wow.
That's really cool. I would have never guessed it had been going on so long.
I know. This is totally different from anything you thought it was going to be when we got into this video, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, is that clothing?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is incredible, guys.
Cool. Good for them.
Yeah, I can only imagine how
excited they are.
That must feel when they finally get to see their family the first time.
Their hard work is paid off, and they're,
I must say that is one of the sharpest military uniforms I've ever seen. I like the green and was it forest green kind of?
Army green.
Yeah. Well, yeah, makes sense. What'd you think?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see him in action.
Yeah, I do too. I want to see more of like the course we were talking about. Seeing like they said it lasted what you got to pass in like 49 minutes or something. 46 minutes. Yeah. But that looked crazy steep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could you do it?
Well,
would you try?
I probably wouldn't even walk it.
And once you were done, you'd just be like this forever.
No, the hard part is putting that basket around your head and like this.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time where I would feel really good doing something like that, but
in your prime, in your early 20s.
Yeah, right. But not anymore.
Yeah.
But guys, let us know in the comments what we should check out in terms of Gurkhas or just
cool
the military stuff in general. We've really been liking a lot of the stuff we've been checking out with the military lately. So let us know, guys, what we should check out. But I think that's it for us today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. And also, guys, I don't usually say this very often, but please hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
You know, we are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Originally, we were trying to get there before the end of the year, but I never mention it early in the videos. I forget to. But yeah. If you're seeing this and you haven't subscribed, please consider just hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Till next time. Peace.
Bye.